Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Charlies, welcome to the episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my co-partner Anthony. This is a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. Now, as you can see, you can't really see it right now, but I came out of surgery pretty much.
Yeah,
I had surgery about 2 hours ago. No.
2 hours ago, but we just recorded the game, the end of the year special with our guests first, and now we're doing the intro in reverse. So it's so I'm pretty impressed that you got out of the hospital from surgery and you immediately are recording the podcast. So dedication. Yeah.
So if people do want to know or don't want to know, if they follow me on Instagram, they kind of know what's going on with us. But so 2 weeks ago was Winter Nationals here in LA. It's one of the big tournaments I go to every year. I usually go to California State Games. I go to Golden State Open, maybe California State Games. I usually try to go to 2 to 3 big tournaments a year. Winter Nationals is one of the main tournaments I always go to every year. Well, my very first match of the tournament, I fought this guy. I tried to get him a move. Bingo, bango, popo. My shoulder went out of socket. So I dislocated my shoulder. They tried relocating it. They tried putting it back there at the tournament. They didn't want to force it in. So I had to go to drive all the way back to LA from Azusa to my regular hospital I go to. It's kind of funny. My regular ER I go to. Mm-hmm. They put it back into place there. And they said, your shoulder's back into place now, sir. You should go see an orthopedic doctor.
Surgeon.
Your orthopedic surgeon to see about it. I went to my regular doctor again, which is funny again, because I have my own orthopedic doctor that I go to regularly. And he was like, Mr. Rodriguez, is this your first time dislocating your shoulder? I'm like, yeah, it's my first time. It never happened before. He's like, are you sure? It's like, I would know if it's been dislocated before. It's something that just happens and you don't notice it or just goes back. No,
I've heard stories of people dislocating their shoulders and not realizing it for 2 weeks and it just pops back in place.
Yeah, well, yeah. He kept on asking if it was the first time. My rotator cuff was destroyed. They need to bolt it back up. I had torn in my bicep and stuff, so I had to go under surgery. Luckily, my insurance covered it, so I had surgery yesterday.
Was there a deductible?
Yeah, for me there was, but my insurance covers most of it. So it's a lot. It's a good bit of money, but it's not as much as it could have been. Yeah.
Same thing with my knee, basically. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had the surgery. It was supposed to be a 2-hour in and out surgery, no problem. They ended up keeping me overnight for observation. They numbed me up good because my arm was all numbed up. My leg was dead for some reason. I don't know why. My leg's still a little dead right now. Remember, I woke up in after surgery. I don't know where they put you at recovery room. But I get there. I'm like, oh man, what time is it? What's going on? I look at a clock. It's almost 7 o'clock. It's supposed to be a 2-hour surgery. Why is it almost 7 o'clock? And they're like, oh, Mr. Rodriguez, you're awake now. Okay. All right. They kept me there for a little bit, kept me there for like almost another hour after I woke up. And like, okay, we're going to take you up to your room now. My room? I'm supposed to go home. What do you mean my room? And they take me up to room and they kept me overnight. They said that my doctor recommended me to stay. But I'm hearing that my, at the same hospital, a friend of ours, a friend of the dojos.
Who trains there?
Who trains with us. That's also where he works at. And I think that because when he went to go check on me himself, that I was so groggy and messed up from the pain meds or the
anesthesia. Yeah.
He suggested them to keep me overnight. But I'm kind of thinking my doctor was planning on it the way he was talking to me before anyways. I was like, I don't know. But I ended up staying the night. And it's like, I wanted to come home because had to do this. I had a friend waiting for me to pick me up and stuff. And I was thinking, man, this is like a very nice jail. They're feeding me, they're being nice to me and stuff, but I can't leave. I can't leave till I'm discharged. And I can't get discharged till the doctor comes. And then when the doctor did finally show up, I was like, oh, cool, I can get discharged soon. Oh, no, sir, you have to wait for your medicines now. Oh, God, it's like another hour away from the medicines.
Did they just give you painkillers or
they gave me
painkillers?
And they gave me some painkillers, they gave me some antibiotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because my shoulder's now surgery happening, I'm not supposed to keep it immobilized for 6 weeks.
When do you start physical therapy?
After the 6 weeks.
After the 6 weeks. That's really okay. That makes sense. I guess.
Well, I'm going to talk to my doctor. I'm going to see my doctor again on Tuesday to get the stitches taken out because it was arthroscopic surgery and they went in a little bit. So I got like 3 new scars on my shoulder now. Cool.
Yeah.
Chicks dig scars.
Because for my knee, they're like the priority is getting it straight. As soon as they got it straight, then we started physical therapy. So that's for my knee. Yeah.
For me, it's just like they want me to just do not engage my shoulder. Do not use my shoulder at all. Do not. The whole thing of like even moving like your shoulder backwards. That's the big thing. Like don't pull your shoulder backwards at all.
Can you do the thing where you like bounce your chest muscles like Terry Crews?
I used to.
Okay. Like, now. Are you allowed to flex?
Oh, am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Stop me?
Is it bad for it? It's like you just hear all the pop of all the bolts coming loose as you do that.
Well, it's
like a tight shirt, right? And then all the buttons start coming loose when you flex. So it's like popping.
All the tendons start coming apart. Whatever they bolted on there starts ripping. So because of this injury and stuff, I'm now 40 years old. The doctors told me this before anyways, that I should stop doing judo. I should stop doing contact sports. I should start running or swimming, doing something else. And it's just like, man, doing martial arts is just such a part of my life and just who I am, you know? I've been doing I want to do martial arts my entire life. I've been doing karate and wrestling since I was like in 5th grade. I've been doing judo now for almost 16 years straight, like regularly judo. It's hard to walk into the sunset, you know? And I've always known this day was going to come where, you know, I decided to hit the old dusty trail and just no more competition. I knew that day was going to come sooner or later. And it just seems that now, because the shoulder injury and now they've popped it out, has surgery, it can still pop out again. It's not something like they bolted on there. It's going to be the rest of my life. Like it's possibility this can pop out again. Yeah. It's actually of a higher possibility that it can pop out again.
Shoulders is one of the most complicated joints in the human body.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if I want to be able to keep somewhat doing judo, teaching judo, maybe hopefully one day get back into doing randori again, I just got to maybe just hang it up when it comes to competition. That is my last competition.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe in like 3 years or 4 years when I feel strong again, it's 100%, 110%. I might do another competition when I'm 45 or something, but I won't be.
I think the important thing is that you rehab first and get it back strong. And then whether you compete or not, something you can think about later on. There's plenty of people that compete after getting shoulder surgery, even in the 40s or 50s. It's just now you have to change the way you approach the competition. I think that's the hardest part, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can no longer spin out of throws and risk landing on the shoulder. Maybe now when you feel like you're about to get thrown, you just rotate over and take the fall.
Yeah.
Like, you can still compete. It just can't be as competitive.
I would have to become a full left-sided player. Like I'm already part-time left-sided player and stuff. I can do both, but I have to become full left side.
Are you a brown belt on the left side?
I'm a black belt on the left side. Get that out of here. I wish I won my last national championships with the left-sided throw.
Okay.
But I will just say that at least I do have 3 national titles. So that was always one of my goals in judo because I didn't get it in wrestling. My goal in wrestling was to become a state champion, but then I hurt my knee in senior year of high school and I wasn't able to make the team. Well, I was able to make a team, but I just had a falling out with my coach and stuff, so I didn't go. But I was like, man, there's some championships I wanted to get. I always came up short, but in judo, I accomplished them. So being a 3-time national champion is nothing to scoff at. I'm happy with my career for the most part. I wish I could get more, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Time and tide waits for no man. And the tide came in and got me.
Yeah, like I said, probably don't think about it for now. Just focus on getting better and then competition, whether you compete. It's not something where you have to sign a piece of document right now saying, I, Juan Rodriguez, hereby declare I shall never, ever compete in any judo tournaments from here on forth.
Well, here's the thing. When I first dislocated, I was like, okay, my first dislocation, I was looking up stuff online and stuff that you probably won't need surgery. You'll be okay and stuff. But then the doctor was like, you need surgery. So this is my original plan. My original plan when I first got put back inside, I was going to come on the podcast today and our wrestling fans out there, people that watch wrestling, know wrestling. I was going to do the salmon jacket promo. Okay, I was going to do a salmon jacket promo. If you're out there and you know what I'm talking about, you guys know what I'm talking about. I was going to come out here, do my whole retirement speech, then rip it all off, be like, I ain't retiring. You ain't getting rid of me just yet. But then my doctor's like, no, Juan, sit your ass back down. You need to get surgery. Oh, no.
What about catch wrestling? Like I know you go to catch wrestling on Thursdays. Is that gonna change? And I maybe this is just me, but I think they go pretty rough in catch wrestling. It's not like judo where like there's a scale. I think.
Yeah. Well, I think with catch, like I probably still train catch. I probably still teach catch, but I don't know if I could do catch wrestling still. Like have like actually have matches with people unless I'm like I feel safe with them. I'm not worried about stuff because with the place I train at catch, like here at our dojo, like we have the sub floors, the nice mats and stuff. At catch, it's just like 1 inch BJJ mats on concrete or linoleum, whatever, just on the floor. So if I get thrown on this shoulder at catch or something,
it's a totally different story than getting thrown our mats. Yeah. So does Raul know that you?
I post on social media, so he might know about it, but I haven't talked to him about it.
Oh, wow. Didn't check up on you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised who has and who hasn't checked up on me.
Oh, that's just, I mean, I know, like when I got knee surgery, I was surprised too. So, yep. Well,
so that's just
anyway.
It. So, and if I'm still going to be posting my normal videos on my Instagram because I actually recorded about like 5 throwing videos right before the injury happened.
Now you can record. How do you train judo without one shoulder?
I actually had someone message me about like, hey, Juan, I thought you said you dislocated your shoulder. It looks fine right there in those throws. I was like, I recorded that actually a week ago. I actually recorded a bunch of videos a week ago and they're still going to come out even though I can't do nothing for 6 weeks.
Yep. So that's your injury. Why don't we talk about because the game show was really freaking long, right? So we should probably this is gonna be a long episode. But how was the Winter Nationals? This was the first Winter Nationals. I wasn't there. It was the first Winter Nationals where it's a USA Judo point tournament, as far as I remember. Yeah. So how was it well organized? Was it just like always, or is it poorly organized? To
me, even though I was only there for one match. I was only there for one match where I got dislocated. I had to go to the hospital. It seemed like just a normal match, like a normal tournament, just like they ran, not like every year, but since they've gone to smooth comp. The one thing I didn't like is that since they allowed weigh-ins the day of, which I didn't like that, I think that's what pushed stuff back because stuff started, instead of starting at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock exact, 8:30, it's supposed to start at 8:30 exactly. It didn't get going to almost, I want to say like 9:30, almost 10-ish, I think, for some people.
Weirdly enough, go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish.
Well, because they had the whole thing, the opening ceremonies, national anthem, then everybody with everybody with a, I don't want to be mean or nothing, but everybody with a candy cane belt had to give a speech. And it's like, oh God, let's get to the fighting already.
Yeah. One of these days I will show up to spectate a BJJ tournament and see if they do all this crap. Because I think they're kind of the gold standard in terms of keeping stuff on time. But this is one of the few tournaments where like 99% of our guys were scheduled to fight early in the morning, within the first 2 hours, literally. Some of them were literally the first match or second match on the mat, which is weird. How long did your match get delayed? Like when were you supposed to fight originally scheduled, and when did you end up fighting?
Like I said, I think I was supposed to fight a little before 9 o'clock, and I think I didn't have my fight till like almost 10 o'clock. I think it was about an hour delay.
So that's not that bad.
Well, it's not that bad, but also my table, the table that we're at, was having problems with the computers.
The software,
yeah. I don't know if it was the monitors or what it was, but they like kept on us. So it would start stuff, and then be like, okay, stop. It's not loading up correctly. You're not showing up correctly, whatever it was. So my table had a little bit of problems.
Okay. So sounds like other than, we're not going to discuss it too much, but we had some pretty bad injuries, you included. Other than that, it sounds like it was a pretty well-run tournament, and it was kind of different from what I heard online. Really? People were saying there's a lot of delays, but we went first, so
for us,
our injuries that occurred could have like delayed everyone else. But people were saying there were delays. There were a lot of bad calls, I heard.
Well, that's one thing with my match where Matt, one of our friends is showing stuff. Matt kept on saying, like, after I hurt myself, like, oh, why
not the one
that was on today, not the one Matt that's on today, another Matt. If you watch my YouTube, my Instagram stuff, the one I throw in my videos, that Matt. He kept on saying, well, one, you should have just took him with Wazadi. You should have just took him with Wazadi. And I was like, me blocking the throw and bellying out and dislocating my shoulder the ref on the mat was already calling that a Wazadi. So if I would have just took it,
that they called that a Wazari, really?
Yeah, the ref on the mat called that a Wazadi. And even I looked at it with like my shoulder hanging like, what are you talking about, Wazadi? And then he yelled like, I can't remember what he yelled, but he waved that off. I was like, yeah,
he did. So he did wave it off. That's you can't blame him for that. Like,
yeah, but if he would have called that a Wazadi, if I did take a Wazadi fall, he probably would have called that Ippon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's my thing where like Matt kept on saying like, oh, you should have just took a Wazadi one. You should have took Wazadi. If the fall that I took pretty much on my belly and arm was Wazadi to him, if I would have taken a full side fall, he would have counted that Ippon.
Don't leave it to the refs, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. When I fell down, like, I bellied out, my arm got caught, dislocated. I rolled over. I can't remember because it's such a blur and stuff. And I'm trying to lift the guy. And I think what messed up my arm more is that once it dislocated, it was on the ground. Then when I got him for an up and over to pull him over me.
Honestly, that's probably how you tore your muscle.
Yeah. So I probably tore the muscle because I kept fighting. I knew someone got hurt, but I didn't know how bad it was hurt. Yeah. And I almost had, if you watch the video, I almost had the guy up and over. Like the guy was pretty much all the way over until my arm gave up on me. And I'm like, okay, I'm fucked. Like, sorry, I'm cursing. I'm messed up. And I'm laying there. I'm like, well, I'm not going to tap for this. I'll just wait here for 20 seconds. I waited and waited and waited and waited for 20 seconds. And then when they yell, Ippon and stuff, he's like, and trying to help me. I'm like, no, man, I can't get up. Like, no, it's match is done. Come on, get up. It's like, no, I can't get up. I can't get up.
Did you see any other like of our guys' matches? Like, were there any other bad calls you saw? Because one thing that, well, let's just start with that question.
Well, for me, I only got to watch Daniel's matches, which were clean throws. And he got nice throws. I think I got to watch one of Mustafa's. I'm not sure. I think I got to watch one of Mustafa's. I think he got a clean throw. For us, we had clean throws. On the other mat, I did get to see David. That just wasn't, for me, it's not that he got like a bad throw done on him. It's just that he wasn't aggressive enough. And then I watched Paul. No, not Paul. It was.
He told me he fought up a weight category, basically. He weighed over a little bit. So everyone he fought was much bigger than him, and he was getting ragdolled. So you can't blame him for not being aggressive.
To me, it's like, and I even told him, I went up to him, I told him, like, you need to go in a little bit harder. Just go in hard. Yeah. You're entering very well. Just finish. Yeah. But it was, who was the other one that was on that mat with him? I can't remember. There was another one that was on his
Milan?
mat. No. It was Jose. I didn't get to watch Jose's matches because I can't watch one of Jose's matches. And just him was just not being aggressive enough. And there was God, I can't. Let me look.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah. So it seems like what everyone's experience varied. The only thing I've heard from some other people that messaged me was that they had a ref tell them that you cannot do a 2-on-1 grip break.
Yeah.
So they were like, that, like, straight up just told them you can't just 2-on-1 grip break. So they just stopped doing it, which is not correct as far as we know. So it goes back to what we say about some of these refs not being up to date with the newest rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's as far as I heard, which is not too bad. Then based off what you said, I guess it's not too bad at all. But yeah.
Well, in my opinion, all the knockout tournaments that have gone to smooth comp system had just made things a lot easier and smoother. The only thing I wish that they did is that they had the number system up so you can see what number it is.
I did see that.
Check on your own phone.
Because I thought they had it, but it wasn't accurate.
Not at my table, they didn't have it. Maybe some tables did, but not mine.
Yeah, that's something that would be nice. Even if it's not digital, which is what they have at President's Cup, I think, which again is not accurate last time I checked. They can get like a thing that you flip, the flip card, scoreboard, whatever you call it, where you flip every single time you get the match. But yeah, they'll be nice if they have that. But all right, that's Winter Nationals, end of the year. We are playing a game called. Oh, do you have anything else before we introduce the?
That's pretty much it. Let's get into the game show.
Yeah, so we're playing a game called The Worst Dojo in America, right? Last year we did a trivia. This year I was like, well, don't want to do trivia again because like I'm gonna have to come up with different questions, and then it might be too hard for some people. And I also just did a trivia for our
For the dojo
holiday party at our dojo. So I'm kind of triviaed out. So I thought it would be easy to outsource some of the effort to you guys and tell you to come up with your plan for the worst dojo in America. And I'm going to talk about it in the recording, the rules. And I guess like some of you guys who click on the title of this episode just to see what I'm talking about. No, I'm not calling out a singular dojo saying this is why they're the worst in America. But if you so happen to, it sounds like it's one of your dojos, then I'm sorry. No, I doubt it'll sound like one of your dojos unless you're crazy. Then you deserve it. But
your dojo might be a McDojo if it does any of this stuff.
Though I think I won't spoil it. Yeah, I won't spoil it. Yeah. We also talk about the end of our end of the year review of our how our judo year went, any regrets, and what our goals are for next year. I think for our New Year episode, we'll talk about, as traditional, we'll talk about what our plans are for the next year. That's going to be the next episode, I believe. And we also used to do the end of the year episode with our players of the year. But due to how long the episode is, we'll just bundle that up with the New Year episode on who was our player of the year personally for 2023, and then we'll also talk about people we're keeping an eye on in 2024. So, yep. So, do you have anything else, or we just go straight into the show?
Without any further ado, let's get to the game show part.
Yeah.
So we're now to the game show part of this year's episode. So last year we tried this out with, it was me, you, David, and Scotty trying to do this game show for the New Year's episode or the end of the year episode. Mm-hmm. This year we're doing with 3 new members. So will you introduce everybody, please?
Yeah. So before we start, I want to make sure, I know Scotty listens to the podcast. I left him out on purpose just because Peter was supposed to be here with him last year, but I know Peter was sick and lost his voice last year, so he wasn't able to do it. So I'm going to leave Scotty out this year, so it's a little more fair. I don't want Scotty to be like, I'm invited every year, and Peter was only invited for 1 year. So
I'm a regular member of the show. They know me now. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm a regular character.
So let's start off with, we're going to introduce everyone, all right? So why don't you talk about, what did we ask last year? It was like your name.
And we always
how long
we do this,
judo?
We introduce you. You ask about like how'd you got into judo, how'd you get into martial arts and stuff. And God, the medicines are hitting me right now. But how'd you get into judo? How'd you get into martial arts? Basically, and tell us a little about yourself.
Yep.
So right. Peter, number 1.
My name is Peter, and I started at Hollywood Judo Dojo maybe 3 years ago, but it all started with just some free boxing classes at a gym that I was going to. And it was like, there was an amateur boxer guy there with some pads and you'd work with him. It was a lot of fun. I did that for a few years. And then I was like, I really want to try and spar though. So then I joined a Muay Thai gym and I went there for a few years and did that for a bit. And then I was like, I know nothing about grappling and if somebody puts their hands on me, so I got to figure that out. And then in my research, judo seems like the best because I know everyone's into BJJ, but it was just so weird that they start on the ground. I'm like, no, absolutely not. No disrespect to BJJ players, but I was like, I got to figure out how to get the guy there first, Mm-hmm. So I saw judo and I was watching videos of judo. I was like, this looks awesome. And then sure enough, Hollywood Judo Dojo was literally, I think, a mile away from me where I was living in Koreatown at the time, maybe less. So I've been going there about 3 years now.
All right. Cool. All right. Elan, go ahead.
Elan, go ahead.
Oh,
introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Yes. Hi, my name is Elan. I actually own Bridgetown Judo up here in Portland, Oregon. I started judo in 2008. It was about 2 years after I got out of the Marine Corps. I had done about 20 years of Taekwondo up to that point. And there wasn't really a Taekwondo school that I wanted to join when I was in Corvallis at Oregon State. And I had gone to BJJ first, but the Oregon State Judo Club was walking distance away from my apartment. So went there, met some great people, fell in love with the sport, and then just kind of kept on going. Moved back to Portland, went to Portland Judo, And then from there, when Portland Judo was kind of transferring out, took over the space and became Bridgetown Judo. So
I have a quick question. So you started at Oregon State, the judo club.
Yeah.
So were you a student there, or you were able to just show up?
I was a student there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I've tried going to a few university clubs before, but I was already out of college, and they're like, if you're not a student, you're not allowed to join a club or whatever. So
I think the only one that was really allowing us to do it was Cal Judo, the one in Berkeley. They actually opened it up to the community.
Okay, that's good. More universities should do this, because we always talk about how there's not enough judo clubs in America, and here you are, like in the middle of nowhere. Some of these places, like I'm thinking of Texas A&M. If you guys don't know where it is, it's like in the middle of farmlands in Texas. They have judo clubs, so they should open it up to the community. That's a good way to grow judo. But all right, so Matthew.
I started judo. I want to say
hello, my name is Matthew. I'm a member of Hollywood Judo Dojo.
My name is Matthew. I'm a member of Hollywood Judo for probably like over 5.5 years. To be honest with you, I was in Japan. I went on a trip by myself, and the only thing I knew about judo was this. I saw this really cool poster that was I was just traveling on, and I didn't know what it was about. I just thought it was cool. I'd always wanted to do a martial art. The closest thing I did was I did a jiu-jitsu class maybe for like a few weeks, but it was just I don't know. It was really expensive. It was like $200 a month.
So you're talking about Brazilian jiu-jitsu to clarify.
Yeah, sorry, right? Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
No, you're talking about traditional Japanese Hakama jiu-jitsu. Okay. No.
And it was like, I don't know. It was geared toward like MMA, UFC kind of stuff, and that's really not just like my personality. I kind of just wanted to do the martial art just for my own personal gain. And when I went to Japan, I saw this cool I forgot. I don't remember who it was, but it might have been Ono. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I saw it, and I when I came back to LA, I was looking up judo places, and Hollywood Judo was closest to me at the time. I was living in downtown LA. And I had to double check because I saw on the website it was $40. I'm like, there's no way. Are these guys like scammers or something? Because there's no way $40 a month for possibly, I don't know, 20 classes. And I want to say the first month I didn't think I'd make it, but I just kept coming in a weird masochistic way. I enjoyed getting thrown. And here I am now. It's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah. So I just want to bring it up early. Today's Friday, but on Monday, Matthew got promoted to Shodan, his black belt.
No, so on Sunday, he got promoted to Shodan.
Sunday? Was it Sunday?
Sunday.
No, he gave it out in class though on Monday, the belt.
When was it?
You're right. You are right. On Sunday, during the holiday party.
Yes.
You're correct.
I filed the papers on the first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, they sent me the email on this day, and my certificate says this. And
yeah. So congratulations, great story. And like you said, you mentioned how you were thinking of quitting, but you forced yourself to at least do a month first, and now here you are like a black belt. So it's pretty amazing.
Not like a black belt. He is a black belt.
Oh, yeah.
So
sorry, this is my Valley girl. My Valley girl talk, like the black belt.
So Peter and Matt, they're both part of our dojo. They're members of our dojo, and they're kind of like me and Anthony's students and stuff. Where Anthony met him back when Elan.
Elon Musk without the billions of dollars.
Oh, sorry. So Elan, you met him when you went up there. When you went up to Oregon, was it Oregon or Washington?
Portland and Seattle.
Yeah. When you went up there last year, you wanted to go try out their dojo.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's how we all know each other.
Yep. I'd highly recommend you guys go check out Bridgetown. I had a lot of fun going there. I think when I went, it was kind of like during holiday time, so there wasn't that many people, but all the dojos there didn't have that many people. People were like, why are you here? Why are you coming at this weird time of the year?
I remember you came during I think it was promotions for BJJ, and you jumped in because I remember that first day was packed, just a ton of people. It was just straight randori the entire time, and people were standing and doing both judo and BJJ at the same time, which is super chaotic, but a ton of fun.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. All right, so we're gonna start the game. I think I mentioned it to you guys. It's gonna be kind of a clickbait of a title for the YouTube video. Because when I invited Elan, I'm like, hey, do you want to come on the show? And he's running his own dojo, right? So I'm like, the title of the show is going to be Worst Dojo in America. He's like,
Bridgetown.
Put his face on it and call it the worst dojo.
You know, and this is after I dislocated my elbow at Dallas Open. So I'm kind of like, oh man, really?
So, but it has nothing to do with anyone's dojo, all right? And if any of these things that we bring up sounds like your dojo, it's not intended, all right? To any of the listeners out there, like, hey, my dojo has shark lasers, like, then
Shark with lasers, yes.
then it's not.
Lasers
We're not
attached to them.
implying your shark laser makes you the worst dojo in America.
Is there really? Sorry to interrupt, but is there really a dojo that makes you do a 10-year contract?
No,
Not
like,
10.
not 10.
That's
There are
what I was
two.
about to say.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, Alex, so a lot of Taekwondo dojo, I was going to do this in my pitch anyways, but a lot of old school, or they still do it now, Taekwondo dojos would be like, oh, let's put you on the black belt plan. So you pay us this much money up front, this much a month, and we'll put you on the 3-year black belt plan. And you test every quarter.
Yeah,
every
they
like
give
few
you,
months.
they send it to you as like a package.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like a university degree, but you just pay up front kind of thing instead of every
Okay.
semester.
Infomercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things.
Some
Okay,
other
so
dojos do it too.
so this is scenario worst dojo in America. Check my notes here. Okay. So I read this to my wife and she said it doesn't sound very good, but I'm just going to read it anyway. So I'm a brain damaged loan officer. So I got in a car accident, I hit my head. I'm not thinking straight. Okay. And I want to be approving a loan for one of you to start your own dojo. So I'm only going to approve a loan because I'm like, I don't want to invest all my money into like 5 dojos or 4 dojos. So I'm only going to approve it for one of you guys. So all of you are competing for one loan for me. So
Case Shark Tank.
yeah, because of my brain damage, I will only loan you the money if you can come up with a business plan that will ensure the highest turnover rate of students and will net you the worst Yelp and Google reviews. So that's the gist of the situation. So I want you to come up with the worst business plan for a dojo that you can come up with, all right, to convince me to give you the money. Right. So here are some of the rules and assumptions. So the business plan, you have to pick 5 main key features, plans, whatever. It has to be semi-realistic. So as I said, no like getting dropped in a tank with sharks and lasers on their head if you don't listen to the sensei, or sending your students into space. That's like not very realistic. But I think like holding a Shiai tournament in a SoFi Stadium with Taylor Swift as the halftime show is okay. All right.
I love that you think that's realistic, by the way.
That is realistic.
Like, I mean, okay.
Because of the next point, we have
SoFi
unlimited
is more
funds.
realistic.
Why
Unlimited
would they
funds.
get low reviews? Why would they get very low reviews? Wouldn't people want to go to a dojo where that would actually happen?
I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example as something that's possible.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
like
In
be
the realm of
creative.
possibility.
Be creative. Don't be boring, basically. But also don't make it so creative where it's like, I'm gonna use a time machine or something like that. Like that's not realistic, right?
Okay. Here's one of my questions about this. Are we doing like one pitch each? Are we like, so one, because we're all doing 5 parts. So we're all going to do one part each and go around the circle 5 times.
We're gonna pitch all 5 at the same time per person.
All 5 at the same time? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't come
Yeah.
prepared.
So you're presenting a business plan, basically. All right.
All right.
So assume there's unlimited funds. Like I'm like a mega billionaire. Unless I'm Jeff Bezos or something, right? So
Or Elon Musk.
or Elon Musk. Unlimited. Well, he's. Yeah, then let's not get into that. I was like, maybe he's in some financial struggle right now, but in terms of his business side. But so unlimited funds, making a profit is not necessary. So you can waste as much money as you want. All right. Assume that you'll get the same constant flow of students. So everyone's going to have the same amount of students coming in. They're just going to sign up right away. You don't have to convince them to sign up. They're going to be the type of people that like, I want to join your dojo. I'm going to sign up right now on the spot and never done judo before or whatever martial art. You don't have to worry about giving a trial membership to convince them to stay. And you also, I already said that. Getting people through the door. So you don't have to worry about marketing, like paying money to come up with lawyer billboards that you see here in LA or whatever. So you don't need any of that. Though if that's part of your business plan to cringe people out of like leaving you a bad Yelp review, then that's fine. All right. So I gave you guys an example, like a not a very good one because BJJ clubs do most of the stuff already. One
Here comes the
example.
heat. Here comes the heat.
A 10-year contract. You're required to buy the branded uniforms and merch and patches. Not allowed to cross train in other places. Belt promotion fees and large sign up fees. That's like five examples of business plans. Okay. So I sent this all to you beforehand, so you're not coming up like with these like on the spot, even though it will be fun to see Peter come up with this stuff on the spot. Because for those who don't know, Peter does stand up in LA. So
Yeah, it's gonna be funny.
yeah, but just like last year, we're gonna, before you give out the answers, we're gonna kind of do like a year-end review. So since we're talking about judo, I want you guys to kind of briefly talk about how did your judo year go? Like, did you meet your goals? Like, talk about any injuries you want to do, or talk about and for Elan, probably how, since he took over a dojo, I want to know how his dojo's been going, and what you wish you would have done, like any regrets, and what are your goals for next year? So let's start with Peter. Stand up.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. You make it sound like I'm about to do a set. No.
You're on.
Yeah. This is why my judo is so terrible sometimes, is I'm usually out doing stand up. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was a great year because when I started coming to the dojo, I'm 6'1", but I weighed 155 pounds, and I've always been a lanky guy. And like, even, out of college, I was 145 most of my life. And, I always just felt like a twig, and like coming to dojo has been, not only do I enjoy it, but it's also like my health benefits of like, it's my cardio for the week. It's the community that makes fun of me if I'm not going to the gym enough, and staying in shape enough. And, so I like that. I like that community encouragement. And so this year I gained, roughly 10 to 15 pounds. And now I'm at like 175 ish on average. So I've gained 20 pounds since I started doing judo in like healthy, more muscular weight. So I was actually just very happy about that.
So when you did Muay Thai, you didn't gain any weight, but judo you did.
Yeah, well, judo, I've changed a lot of how I work out. It was just doing way more leg stuff. Like I actually have a butt now. I've never had a butt in my life.
Ladies,
like
ladies, he has a girlfriend already. So
yeah, I already have a girlfriend. Don't worry.
Show it off. Show that butt. Stand up and step booty. Turn that booty around.
It's fun. I used to have the flattest butt in the world. Like I come from a long line of flat butts, and so this was it's kind of fun. But it's just like honestly kettlebells, just doing tons and tons of kettlebell swings and working on squats and getting deeper, going slower with squats and all that. So anyway, judo. It's okay. I'm always plagued with various injuries of like bruised ribs, popping out toes, breaking thumbs. Like before I even started judo, I broke 20 bones in my life, maybe doing nothing. So I'm just very prone to injury and accidents. So, but I have gotten better, and like, I'm happy, I went to nationals and winter nationals and got a medal where I wasn't just 3rd out of 3. So that was nice. Anyway, so yeah, I felt like it was a good year overall for me. Very good year.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you that you medaled in winter nationals, and like you said, not last one.
Are you planning on getting more weight after this, or 175? You're gonna stick with that?
I don't know. Maybe 185 would be the highest I go, but if I want to compete, I'd want to stay below 178 because I think that's the 80 kilo. Under 80 kilos what I last competed at. So yeah, 81. So I'm like, oh man, if I gain more weight, I'd go up a weight class, and I can't fight those fat boys. Like I don't want to do that. Anyone who weighs more than me, I call a fat boy. I call Scotty a fat boy all the time. He's like,
I know the struggle because growing up, I'm 6'4". Elan saw how tall I am, and throughout college, I weighed 160 pounds. So I bulked up to 215. So I gained like 50 something pounds, and
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I ate a lot and lifted a lot of weight. So it was a long struggle, but yeah. All right. So go ahead. Give us your business plan, and we'll discuss point by point and pick it apart.
Oh, okay. So my business plan, hold on. I think I wrote something down. Yeah. This is actually just based on a lot of experience of like other gyms or places I've been to. But so the judo would be held in a community college in the gym. But we'd share a space with the Tai Chi class who they're older and they're very grunty. and loud and annoying, and they claim they need the tatami mats for their feet. So we would just have to practice on the hard floor.
I'm sorry. This sounds very familiar.
I mean, it's based off certain experiences I've had throughout my life. See, my loan would only be like $5,000 total, because in keeping it horrible, it'd be so cheap to run just a horrible dojo.
Wait. So how? Let me clarify what you're saying. So you're saying, it's going to be a community center sharing space with a Tai Chi class. Yeah. And the Tai Chi class is full of old people that grunt a lot, and they're afraid of fall. There's no falling in Tai. Well, I guess it depends on which. If you're
they're older.
Push. Why do you need the mats?
Because they're afraid of falling. Listen,
why would they fall?
And their feet.
Because old people fall over a lot. Broken hip, number one.
Yeah, but you see them doing Tai Chi in parks.
They're not good at it. We're at a community college, Anthony. They're falling over left and right. They're basically weeble wobbles.
All right, I won't play lawyer here, but like,
yeah.
Okay.
I like how you're like, this isn't realistic. Bring back Taylor Swift.
It's supposed to be brain damage.
So far.
Yeah, I'm supposed to brain damage, right?
This is brain damage.
All right, and you guys, anyone else have any comments on the first point?
I think it's great.
Go ahead. Yeah, continue.
What was my second one? The instructor would have a long history of horribly injuring his ukes and demonstration people. So he's got just a history of breaking people's knees and cracking ribs, and falling on people, dropping them.
Okay.
So that's the instructor who's like leading.
So you're saying you're going to hire someone based off the criteria of how many people they injured?
No, actually, he met Bruce Lee once, and that's why I'm hiring him. He met him when he was a kid, and he's like, I'm an expert at martial arts. But he's very bad.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand your business plan here. You're trying to. How would you find this person? Is what I'm saying. Because he met Bruce Lee. Like, that's going to be the selling factor. I need a guy who met Bruce Lee to be like our instructor. What if he met Bruce Lee, but he's a great instructor?
No, he's not. He drops people all the time. He has a long history of breaking people's knees. I don't know if you heard that part.
I did.
But I don't think you heard the part where you're supposed to listen, being brain dead, and that's what Chris says.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then there's randori, but you're only allowed to do randori with belts higher than you, but never below you or equal to you.
Wait, so how would that work?
You can do that all the way up to Nidan. So, like, if there's black belts there and you're a white belt, you just got to go fight all the black belts.
Yeah, but then the black belts won't be allowed to go with the white belts.
No, the black belts have to fight them. Well, what was it? Yeah, because Nidan and higher, the rules changed.
Oh, okay.
So you have to get all the way to Nidan before you can go down.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like a great thing. Great thing to do. It sounds very safe.
I don't know, man. It can be discouraging sometimes. Like I didn't go to Randori. I was for like my first 5-ish months, went to like the pure Randori classes, not like Psycho Geico or whatever it is. And then
Geico, we're not a car company. All right.
What is it?
Like car insurance.
How do you say it?
Geico.
Geico. Yeah. So like, it was like, but like with Randori, with all the big boys, like I was just getting tossed so much that I would just be like, all right, I need to get way more technique before I can go back there. Cause I just felt discouraged, honestly.
Yeah. So I think a lot of dojos out there will actually tell you like, it's good to have black belts go with beginners, assuming you have enough black belts. But yeah, otherwise, sure. Like, why not?
Maybe. And
it's much more dangerous to have 2 white belts go together. And also on a side note, I'm pretty sure the way you pronounce yakusoku, it's yakusoku, like promise, prearranged.
Yeah,
yakusoku
that's
is
what
promise.
I said.
You said yakusoku geiko. So
I didn't say no soko. I said yakuseko geiko.
I thought you said yakisoba, so I thought
it sounded like
that's my mic. Yakisoba? You want some soba? I love some soba right now.
Okay, so
cold soba or hot soba?
Cold.
What is the
cold? Yeah, I like hot soba.
Yeah. What's that?
What's the last one? Was that the last one?
Well, I think the third part. You got 2 more, don't you?
Yeah. Class would be 20 minutes of warm-ups, 10 minutes of technique, uchikomi, randori, and then 20 minutes of cool down. So we'd put a heavy emphasis on stretching.
Okay. Why are you calling out Juan like that?
Wow.
Oh, me. Oh,
Not even.
wow. I'm sorry. Mr. Tin Man over here can't do the splits. Can't get Uchimata for his life.
Yeah, Juan can do the splits for those who don't know. So that's the joke I'm making. His class is not actually like that. So
My class is split class. You do splits the entire time.
Boo. Is that a joke?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna come over there and whoop your ass.
I don't know. That doesn't sound too bad if it's for older people, I guess. But
10 minutes of just uchikomi, randori, and technique. That's all you get in an hour class. I'd be mad.
I mean, okay, I'm not going to say it's judo, but I've been to some BJJ clubs that basically do that. But yeah, not 10, but maybe 15 minutes. Like 15
out of an
minutes.
hour. They only do like 10, 15 minutes of BJJ.
Yeah, like they do a lot of stretching, a lot of warm-ups, a lot of conditioning, and then the instructor talks a lot.
Sounds like Anthony's class. Ooh.
Yeah, I guess all that. So they talk a lot, and then you only get like 10, 15 minutes of actual live rolling. So, it's not as rare as you think, I guess. But judo, I don't think I've ever seen judo do that before.
I went to a dojo in Hawaii where we did uchikomis and stretching for like a good 40 minutes. It was
seriously?
Like, I wasn't complaining about it. It was part of this camp, I guess, but there was a 15 Olympian, but it was a strange class because I think after the 30th minute of just doing these exercises, I was really tired. And then they just pushed us to do randori for the rest of there was no instruction after.
So I know I know I'm not going to say which class dojo it was, but the Olympian's not Japanese, if I remember.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. So I don't know what the approach is, but a lot of Japanese dojos just do warm-ups and then straight into randori. But 40 minutes is a lot. So,
well, there's a lot of people there too, so they had to go through the whole lines before they could switch to the next technique.
Then I that's probably not normal. It's probably just not planned very well. The scheduling.
Well, it's happened. I'm just saying it happened. So
yeah, it happens. It happens. Lord. So I guess Peter, I will say I'm a little disappointed. Everything's kind of too real for me.
Don't you get one more part?
Too real.
Okay, one more part, right?
Well, part of me, you said keep realistic, so I was like, this could be a real place.
Okay.
And then
you also put Taylor Swift in there.
I put Taylor Swift in there.
yeah, that's fair.
I don't even know who I don't really know who Taylor Swift is. I just know they
whatever.
Concerts,
I know she's your screensaver.
No, my sister's been getting Taylor Swift tickets or something and asked if I want to go, and I'm just like, no. So
you're like, oh yeah, please.
Well, then my cousin told me how hard it is to get tickets, apparently. And
dude, they're expensive, man. They're like more expensive.
I was offered them for free, but I just said no. So
you should have just went for the experience, man.
Yeah. All right, Peter. What's the last one? Was that
last one is tickling would be highly encouraged.
Tickling is highly encouraged.
There'd be a heavy emphasis on tickling.
I think Safe Sport might have a problem with that.
So here's an interesting discussion, right? I asked Philippe or Sensei Philippe this the other night. I'm like, is tickling actually allowed in the IGF? There's no rules in the IGF rule sets. Yeah. IGF rule sets doesn't say tickling's not allowed, but there it can always be what against the spirit of judo kind of rule. Yeah, but
definitely.
Tickle fight.
Philippe was like, well, if it's not an identifiable technique, then
what? This is Ippon-sei a tickle.
What? But you can also say like driving your finger into someone's neck to try and get the choke is not really a identifiable judo technique. So you could tickle the guy to get them to open up and choke them. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you think tickling is allowed? Do you encourage it in your classes, Elan?
All the time. Absolutely. all the time.
So you would allow, if you saw, let's just say, let's not say adults, right? If you saw kids do that in your kids class, would you allow it?
Depends on the context, like if we're like actually like doing class, like if we're doing like, hey, do randori, do this technique, and they're like kind of just, messing around in the corner, then it'd be like, hey, there's kind of like a weird, like, you want to build this environment where kids are comfortable and having fun, but also like,
what you mean.
We're here to do judo. Yeah. And I'm saying this because I don't know who from like USA Judo or USJF is listening, so I still remain part of the. But no, it's like, you know, as long as it's part of like if the situation is kind of in that lighthearted situation, it's fine. But you know, if we're like playing game or doing like Newaza soccer or something like that, like.
What if you're doing turnover drills? So you're doing turnover, one of them shelled up like really tight, then one of the kids just try and tickle the other person to open them up so they can turn them over.
If he tried it every round and it was disruptive, then yes. But if he tried it once because the kid was like 50 times bigger than him, then you know you can let that go.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't think there's any difference between tickling and also the things that like you see people do, which is like driving the elbow into the spot on your thigh to open up the guard, or like driving your thumb or your chin into people's ribs, like the pressure points to get them to open. I think it's the same thing. Tickling is just another pressure point. So
I think tickling is just a blatant action, but you can get the same reaction if you do like the pressure point thing, like how I put my knuckles sometimes in your ribs sometimes, you know, or I'll open you up with my elbows.
But like if you only have access, let's say I'm ticklish in my armpit, right, or or the side of my my waist, then there's no pressure point. You can drive your thumbs as hard as you want onto my waist, and it's not gonna do anything.
No, you don't
start like wiggling.
Here's the whole thing. People think that when you do pressure point stuff, you have to do it hard. You don't. You do a nice, gentle. So it's not super. Peter, you know how it is. I'd get you all the time with this kind of stuff. Does it hurt when I do it to you?
Well, if sometimes you hit a weird place of like pressure points for me sometimes had like a weird effect of tickling. I remember as a kid, my dad would do this thing where he grabbed my leg the right way, and it tickled and it just hurt at the same time in a weird way. And I feel like I'd even have more energy to throw someone off me if they started tickling me. I had an older brother, and when he tickled me, I would spaz out like he couldn't believe. So I can't.
What Peter says he sees red when he gets tickled.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it should be allowed, but I think you'll see some interesting results.
All right. So
against Tatami for 18 seconds, would you tickle the opponent to get out of it?
I would.
Definitely would.
Honestly, I definitely would. Like I said, if I can't gain access to the points that are sensitive in the pressure way, then I would just try tickling because those are more accessible, I think. So,
all right. So Anthony, what do you think of the pitch? Do you accept it or not? Are you giving money?
I'll give him credit for going first. You know, so
that fell low.
No, I'm not gonna be the one that ultimately picks it. We're all gonna just like vote for our favorite one in the end, I think. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Elan just went away. I was just gonna have. Yeah. You want to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
So, what we started with judo.
Yeah. So, how was your judo year? What do you have any regrets or what would you have done, wish you'd have done, and what are your goals for next year? Did we talk about our goals, Peter, by the way? I forgot.
I doubt we did goals.
Okay. But sorry, Peter, goals next year. Quick. Forgot.
You know, just to keep improving with technique, especially because like I've loved trying out a ton of techniques with judo so far and trying to just see what fits because I feel like I still don't have perfect things. And I'm slowly starting to get my own sort of judo style in my head and of like the more the moves I like to do and that I'm good at with my body type. And so I'm just trying to figure out that. And then also the second one would be relaxing more in randori in competition and just fighting in a more relaxed style than like a very rigid or tense style.
Those are great goals. That definitely makes up for the business plan. All right.
Wow.
All right, Elan.
This is harsh. I don't know if I want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm hardly judged
I
here.
want to go home.
So my yearly review. So the dojo's been doing pretty well. I mean, we've tried some really randomly like advertising tactics. Like we had went to like an AAPI bouldering night. So like one of the local bouldering gyms had a bunch of vendors that are all AAPI businesses. And we tried to give away like, you know, 2 or 3 free month passes. Nobody like did like an uptake on that. And it's weird how people come into the door. It's literally like proximity, right? Like everybody looked up like Hollywood Judo and they're like, oh, it's very close by. and that's where they went. And it's kind of the same for us. We're in Northwest, while the other big clubs in the east of Portland. But our judo's still growing, our club's still growing, kids program is still growing, so it's doing pretty well. Personally, my year was pretty good. I fought in nationals this year, so that's the first time I've really fought in judo nationals, and I took 5th in seniors and then 2nd in masters 2.
Are you talking about USJF national or USA? I think you did USA Judo nationals and USJ. You did USJF too.
No, I didn't do USJF. I just came down. I just went down there.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. We were, V was going to fight in USJF.
Yeah.
And then,
was USA nationals the one where you hurt your arm, your elbow?
No, that was Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. President's Cup. Okay. Got it.
So that would probably be my regret.
Posting your arm.
Yeah. Just the first match went well. Just Dayashi, the guy, it was just kind of a nice match. He fought pretty well, but the second guy I fought is a guy I've fought repeatedly over the past couple of years. And I've beaten him with that same Dayashi. Mm-hmm. So this year I thought he was baiting me for it. So I just didn't shoot it at all. Oh man, I got into my own head about it, and I was kind of forcing him out to the edge of the ring a whole bunch, and kind of playing the edge of the ring, kind of get him to go forward, so I can do like a forward throw. And we just ended off on the side of the off, and I think he was going for like a sumi, and I think we heard mate. He kind of slowed it down, and I just posted my arm, just kind of stopped. So any judokas, no, don't post your arm. But it was the final, so I was kind of like, I can get away with this. I've done this a bunch of times. And then I looked at my arm, and it was facing the wrong way, and I'm like, oh, that's not good.
So you didn't realize it happened until you saw your arm. You didn't feel anything or heard anything.
I heard the pop.
Okay.
But I didn't think anything of it because my body pops all the time. I'm almost 40, so it's like that's a thing, right? But then I looked and I saw it, and then I started screaming, and everybody in the room thought I ki-eyed. Oh. They're just like, oh yeah, that's something he would do. Like someone goes for a sacrifice throw, of course you're going to ki-eye on the way down, make it look like the other point. And then my opponent turned me over, and I started tapping, and he's like
immediately.
Oh. So yeah, that was a fun experience. So I would like to not do that again. So next year, one of my goals is to not do that again.
What are your other goals?
I would like to fight in Masters Worlds, which I've heard might be held in Vegas this year.
Really?
That's the
rumor.
It's
being held in Tokyo, I believe.
Sorry, Veterans Worlds, not
Veterans Worlds. So I thought it was the Tokyo, because I got an email about it from USA Judo, but I realized it's not Masters Worlds. It's Tokyo Open. Veterans Tokyo Open is what it was.
Oh, okay.
So Philippe corrected me on that, so I went back and checked. So that's the one that I wanted to do, but I'm going to be in Singapore, so I can't do it. But it'll be cool if it's in Vegas. So I know a lot of people from our club are interested, would be interested if that's the case. But how do you qualify for that?
So I had talked to other people of my age category, and they told me that pretty much you just have to get onto the roster, because it really it's hard.
Mean on the ranking roster is what you mean?
On the ranking roster.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a veterans, we have the senior one, then you have there is actually a veterans masters roster. They said that it's typically you just have to get on. I don't know how it'll work this year if it's in Vegas, because usually people don't want to put up the money to go someplace. Like Abu Dhabi was where it was this past year, and the year before that was Poland. So it's pretty much you get on the roster and then you're like, hey, I want to go. Yeah. And they'll be like, sure. But this year, since it's Vegas, if it is in Vegas, it might be a little bit more competitive is my thought process. But
what if, so I've checked the ranking rosters recently for another reason, but I was checking both the seniors and the veterans. And in the veterans, you'll see some weight classes just empty. So let's say Matthew here is like, hey, I just got my black belt. I want to go to Tokyo or go. I've never competed before, or the last time I competed was when I was a white belt or something. Then and he's like, I'll foot up the bill. Would USA Judo actually send him, or they'd just be like, don't embarrass us? Like,
I'm honestly not sure, because like I remember I qualified to go to the Veterans Pan Ams. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really get I don't think I saw the email until 3 days until like they were like, hey, you have to sign up and this is the deadline. I'm like, well, what's going on here? They
do that a lot, actually. It's really upsetting, actually.
So I'm not really sure like how they do the selection process for that type of stuff. I mean, like I also got the veterans thing for Japan, which sounds like a really cool, would have been a really cool tournament, but yeah, I'm not really sure if like there's no one in your division. Maybe you show up and like get the points, and they're like for like another.
That's why that's why I'm saying like, does that mean they will send you automatically, or you have to like go to a tournament? And what happens if you don't get any points? Like, you lose every single match.
No. I mean, some of it's like the points are like some of it's like pay to play, right? So
yeah, a lot of it is. So all right, so yeah, that's great. Business plan.
Okay. So all our memberships are lifetime membership. It is a lifetime commitment. However, I am running this dojo as a religious institution. So all fees are considered tax-free. Suggested donations, highly suggested donations. And there's no reason for that. I just don't want to pay taxes. That's just sticking it to the man. So when people come to our dojo, they can use black belts and higher belts as ukes. However, we will be charging them a suggested donation for a convenience fee for them having good ukemi. Because, I mean, like, you wouldn't pair white belts with white belts because the ukemi is not going to be great, so you're not going to get the technique as well. So we will be giving a suggested donation.
Wait, so do the ukes get to keep that fee, or you pocket it?
Oh, I'm pocketing it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't care. We have unlimited. Like this is me establishing myself as the benevolent dictator of
so the lifetime membership, is that like a lifetime contract, or is that like a one-time fee where you pay like $10,000 and like
donate $10,000?
Okay. So,
donate. Wow. I love that.
Or is it like Scientology where they can keep paying more and more and get a higher and higher belt?
I mean,
their own planet.
We would highly suggest that, but there's no guarantee, and that will actually kind of come up in the end of this. There's the more promotions coming up.
Go ahead.
So we have these convenience fees for everything. Convenience fees for bowing onto the mat, convenience fees for us cleaning the dojo for you, things like that. Even if you want to go clean the dojo, that's going to be a convenience fee for yourself, getting our equipment and all that kind of stuff. So we also are requiring every new member to join our WoW guild, and you have to donate 6 hours a week.
Why just put them on Evercrack too while you're at it?
Yeah, it's fine. But you have to be part of our guild, and you have to be giving about 6 hours a week to do raids, because that is going to be in consideration for your promotion.
Can I just farm and kill animals? I don't want to do raids.
All right. So for those who are too young, or I guess not too young is not a thing, or too old is not either a thing either. WoW is World of Warcraft. It's a MMORPG online video game. And he's basically saying you have to join their cult and donate time to kill these virtual video game bosses.
Yes.
It takes hours.
I like that. Because then it's a cult within a cult. They're like lifetime membership, all these fees, got to join this other cult, the cult.
It's inception of cultiness. Then our fourth thing is you're required to participate on our team Shiais. However, our team Shiais are going to be held in Comic Cons and anime expos. So each team has to have a theme. For example,
you're gonna make them dress up?
Yeah.
Okay.
For example, if you are the My Hero Academia team, I'm going a little bit more modern with this one. Only one person can be Deku. Only one person can be, Bakugo.
Bakugan, yeah, his name.
So you know, you can have those themes, but they have to be each individual. They don't have to necessarily match. So you don't like, if you had an X-Men theme and Juan wanted to be Storm, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
Wait, well, what's wrong with
I'm more
Storm?
of a rogue character, okay?
You can be rogue.
What's wrong with Storm?
No, we're promoting inclusivity. That's the.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually sounds awesome. I would love to dress up as
like that
Spider-Man
idea.
and fight.
Spider.
There's like a little bit of like, I feel like I've had this conversation with you, Anthony, of like, I want to run a tournament, but I want to do it at our Comic-Con.
Yes. I told you about how I want to do beach judo, right? And you want to do like Comic-Con, yeah.
Yeah. So these are kind of things where you have a millennial running a dojo. Like these are the thoughts that come into my head.
I will say this. And
go ahead.
In the Bay Area Fanime, they do have they have cosplay pro wrestling up there at Fanime, so it's not that far off.
That'd be amazing. It would bring judo up, but it wouldn't make me the worst dojo.
So
it depends. Some old guys or some like bros be like, dude, this is so stupid, man. This is dumb. Non-traditionalist, man.
Yeah, Elan's making it kind of hard because me as a anime fan and nerd fellow like geek, it's like that's freaking awesome, just like Peter said. But as a loan officer, that could be like, oh, that's terrible. You know, like someone who doesn't do that kind of stuff. It puts me in a hard position on how I would vote. But was that number 4 or number 5?
That was number 4.
Okay.
Number 5. So about promotions. So being promoted is going to be, we're going to select people for promotions via a complex, very, very, very complex. Well, it's going to be completely random who gets promoted. We're just going to have a dartboard. But that cohort is going to participate in a number of different.
Hold on. I laughed so hard my headphones fell off. Say that again.
So that cohort, we're producing a cohort randomly, and that cohort is going to participate in a few different challenges. And at the end of those challenges, the cohort is going to convene together and vote the weakest link off. We will also be taping this for our YouTube reality TV show.
Okay, that's really good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So everything else doesn't matter for promotions. I just kind of wiped it, but it's fine. It's fine.
So basically, only one, you're going to use a dartboard to decide who's up for promotions, and then you're going to have to vote every single person off, like the weakest link, and then only one person gets promoted.
Yep.
Okay. That's great idea.
Promotions
I just like
turnover.
I like masking the idea of like it's a very complex system. You're just in the back rolling dice. You're like,
oh, yeah, 12. All right, let's see what the next one is.
Everybody's going to get a D20, and there's like, well,
roll a 7, and you just kill them off. Yeah.
It's a very complex system of rock, paper, scissors. Okay.
All right. What do you think, Matthew? Do you like Peter's plan better or Elan's plan better so far?
I mean, I wouldn't go to either dojo.
That's good. That's good.
all right.
Would follow me, like it would give me lifetime trauma. Peter's would be more like, oh man, I got to go to this guy's dojo.
I think in our current reality, I would definitely give the money to Peter, but Elan, I'm like, man, where did I sign up? Like, how do I sign up for this cult? I'll pay that I'll take out a mortgage to join this club.
No, because the reality, you said a reality show at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that once that goes on the internet, that's forever. That'll follow you. That'll haunt you for the rest of your days. So and if you really screw up, you'll be having to look at that for like in all these memes, these little mix they'd make on TikTok or Instagram. So yeah.
Well, I'll counterpoint that. When I first got to LA when I was like 21, I did a reality dating show. And it's been buried ever since.
Well, you look able to.
It was Blind Date, wasn't it?
Well, it's been buried.
No, it was called Excused with Eliza Schlesinger.
Oh, you got excused really fast, didn't you? Then
I won the whole.
You
darn
won.
thing.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was awesome.
Real? Was it real or was it already planned that you were going to win?
It's like real-ish in that it goes along and the people are making decisions, but every time the camera's off, there's a producer going like trying to encourage you to do things because they're trying to push you to be like, the good guy or the bad guy or the rebel or whatever. And I would always I turned into the good guy because I would say no to everything they said. And this other guy would be like, yeah, I'll do that. So then he
That's how you won.
idiot.
That's how you won.
Yeah. The episode was called Gay for Lincoln.
Okay, for
Yeah. I said that in the episode.
You're not Lincoln, right? In here?
No. I think the girl asked me at some point in the date, like, if I could be gay for any man, who would it be? And I was like, oh, Lincoln. He's the only one who deserves it, just out of respect.
Did you try to look for it? Is it online, or you're afraid it's like buried?
I'm confident I can say it because I've had people look for it since they can't find it. And I'm like, great, perfect. Maybe a listing in an old TV guide or something like that.
Well, that was an MTV show, wasn't it?
I don't know. I think it aired on CBS. It was like, I think it was CBS. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Crazy.
Okay.
I'm going to try and dig it up now.
How'd you go with the girl? It's like that date and that's it. Did you end up seeing her after?
Actually, we finished the show. And I was like, and I just, they pick you up in a town car, drop you off in one. And as I'm driving home, I'm like, hey, I didn't get the girl's number. And they're like, yeah, why would you? And I'm like, wait, we won the date thing. They're like, well, that's like a whole privacy thing. We can't just give you her number. I'm like, we won the show together. Like they had to have people reach out to her to go on a second date. Yeah, it was, I made like $100 for the day. It was terrible.
So she didn't call you back, basically. She didn't.
No, we went on another date and, it went poorly because she wasn't nice. And she said some things about Mexicans where I was like, bruh, no. It was like, we ended it at that date where I was like, all right. She was like, I don't want to say because in case her name got done.
Yeah. Got
I was
it.
just like,
in case someone finds it.
Yeah.
So if I do find the episode, it'll be gated behind our Patreon and
our Patreon keeps saying we're going to make. We haven't yet. We've been saying it for about a year now.
All right. So Juan or Matthew, you guys decide who goes next.
Matthew.
Sure.
All right.
What do you?
So, how did your judo year go? What any regrets? What you wish you would have done, and then goals for next year?
I mean, getting a black belt, that's probably as good as it gets, which I wasn't expecting that. I wish I'd competed more, especially the last few months. I just been busy with stuff, and throughout the year, I had a few ups and downs and stuff. But that's my goal next year because I feel like to be a really good black belt, you got to compete because you're putting yourself in situations where you do not know the opponent. And I think Sensei Philippe said on Sunday that once you hit a black belt, you're thinking about judo in a certain way. And I'm still kind of curious what he meant by that. And I'd like to know. I think that if I compete, put myself in situations where I normally wouldn't be in, maybe I'll figure out what he meant by that.
Okay. That was nice and that's a very textbook answer, but it was great. Like it was really good.
What do you want from him?
No, but it was actually good because he's not just. I know he's not making this up because I know him. But so it's not like an interview where you're like, you just like looked up on Google what are the 10 best answers to the top 10 interview questions kind of thing. So, all right. So your business plan.
Okay, I just came from a trip to Tennessee with my parents. It was a long story short, but they have a timeshare, and the timeshare is in Vegas. And I already see Juan shaking his head. But,
he's gonna inherit that timeshare. You know that, right?
No, please do not. Anyway, long story short, they switched it out this year to go to Tennessee, and I don't know if any of you have ever been to Tennessee. There's this area called Gatlinburg. If anyone's familiar with it.
I'm not familiar.
Oh yeah,
with that.
I know that place totally. Yeah, all the time.
It's like they were joking around. They called it like Hillbilly Vegas.
Okay.
I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, maybe it was cool because like there's also like I like the I do like the Smoky Mountains. I like going to the national parks. Are really beautiful in this country. But when I went there, it was weird because like it's just to give you an idea. It was like there's like 4 different Ripley, believe it or nots, Hard Rock Cafe. I don't know what you call it.
I think that's called Hollywood Boulevard here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's like that corporate culture kind of like. I guess it's someone's interpretation of other cultures, but in a theme park setting. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking that would be an interesting dojo or a really horrific one where it's sort of like this venture capitalist dojo that's judo interpreted, from like a rich oil man. and it wouldn't necessarily be a
yeehaw, we do some judo today, guys.
It wouldn't necessarily be a lifetime membership, but I guess it would be a timeshare kind of membership. So
timeshare membership.
That'd be the first thing. You have to buy in a spot because it's like they try to say it's limited spots are open. And that's part of the fee is that once you pay for your spot, you only have to worry about my second option is you only have to worry about a maintenance fee, which is like a type of HOA that covers the membership to support the building, all the events that you go to. The third sort of thing I was thinking about is it's sort of like since it's going to the theme park realm is the whole dojo is created like a farm, and instead of mats, it's like sandbags, kind of like the Hollywood Judo used to be. And then
Yep.
The fourth point would be actually no, I think that was the third or fourth, whatever. There'd be an extra fee if a black belt is teaching that night.
Okay. So who teaches normally then? A white belt?
Well, it depends. I guess if you're a beginner, if you just need to fall, I guess you could learn from a green belt. When I started, Anthony was a green belt and he was teaching me
how to teach him how to fall.
And none of the black belts talked to me actually when I first started.
Don't look at me, you white belt. How dare you come over here?
There would be a fee for any kind of social media shout outs or mentions. And lastly,
I'll tag you if you keep paying me.
If you pay a subscription. And then my last point would be because it's a capitalistic dojo, there'd be tiered classing. So you have one tier, which is basic. You only get one class a week. Second is 2 classes and randori. And then there's a third tier, which is unlimited amount of classes. And it would be an inordinately expensive amount.
That sounds like BJJ, the last part. It actually does.
That almost sounds like Hollywood.
Did it really limit your classes?
Well, yeah.
Did Eric not tell you a story where he went to a pretty famous place around LA and they told him like, you're not, that membership you got, you're not allowed to spar with anyone.
I think you did mention that. Yeah.
So
we were almost going to do that for a little while. We're going to start limiting because
I was like, we're going to charge people to spar with black belts.
No, I wish we could do that. No, but for a second we were talking about because we felt that some people were taking advantage of our classes, some of our lower ranks going to a lot more classes than they should be going to. So we were thinking about starting to like limit people going to classes, but it became a whole headache of like keeping track of it and who's going to keep track of it, and it just let it go.
Yeah, because we have like classes 6 days a week now, 5 days a week now, basically, and some people go to all 5 days. Yeah. So, for $50 a month. So,
on autopay.
Yeah. That's great. So the first part about the timeshare. So to clarify. So it is like a timeshare. You go into a resort, but it's basically a judo training camp or class, basically, just with resort facilities. Yeah. So you can, and events nearby. Okay. So I asked that question because are you guys familiar with the Princess Cruise thing that Fuji did?
Yeah. What's the BJJ cruise? It was like a BJJ cruise, right?
It's BJJ cruise.
It turned into a BJJ cruise, but Peter has this confused look on his face. So was it USA Judo that emailed it out, or Fuji emailed it out, or American Judo System?
I think Fuji did.
Yeah, so they emailed they sent an email out saying like, hey, you can go on this vacation cruise where Travis Stevens and Kayla Harrison's going to be on board, and we're going to have mats on this cruise, and you can do judo training and like
that go to all creepy.
Yeah,
that was we did.
Like, hey, want to follow celebrities around?
Yeah, we kind of.
What, you want to go to the New Kids on a Block cruise? What?
Wait, was that a thing?
Yes, it actually was a thing. Yes.
Well, that is a legit thing. Beyond my time. But
it was recent. It happened like a couple years ago. What? You didn't want to go?
Me and Juan
go to the Taylor Swift.
Me and Juan talked about it.
Swift cruise.
Me and Juan briefly talked about it and did say like that's kind of weird. And but
how did it do?
Well, I'm also like, what happens if people get in a fight? Like they get too serious, you're gonna throw them off the ship or something like that. But
more fights happen at the bar on a cruise ship, not in the mats, I'm sure.
All right, Peter, you used to stand up on cruise, right?
Yeah, I hate cruise ships with a passion. I used to do them for like 3 years, 4 years, but You literally had to pay me to go on a cruise because they're detestable atmospheres.
Yeah.
What makes it so detestable?
I mean, it's just kind of, it's very, well, especially as a comedian, you're like living below deck in these like weird little corridors. You're alone. Everyone hates you on the boat, like crew wise, the people who you can hang out with, because you get paid a lot compared to them. Because these people work from like all over the world and they're technically international companies. So they pay way below minimum wage. So you're like a god compared to what they're making. They just know that and they don't like you for it. And then you can't really hang out with the customers on the ship because they're like, you're not supposed to like fraternize with customers. That's one way to get fired. If you get too close to people, you can't take drinks from people. You can't get drunk. It was just like, not, it was a very,
you can't get drunk the whole time. You can't get drunk. Even
the whole time. No. And they'll walk around with little breathalyzers and breathalyze you in the hallways and stuff if they think you're drunk as an employee.
Bring into this.
Yeah. And then sometimes you can get kicked off the ship wherever you're at. So you could just be stuck in Jamaica.
Oh, so they can kick you off if they're like, you're not that funny. Like,
no, because I've done that before. It's like, you still got to listen to me, baby. Yeah, but then I didn't have fun. I got fired. I've had a couple of friends who got fired from cruise ships because you just kind of get bored of it, tired of it, and you end up saying something. Because you have to sign contracts, you won't talk about certain things in the ships and certain material. Anyway, yeah.
So you can't talk to anybody. That's you can't go to the bar, and what if someone approaches you like, "Hey, I really liked your set. Like, could you invite them?"
You can, and you can like hang out. But it's like when I say fraternize, it was like, so you can't sleep with the passengers. That's what I was like.
That's the best part of the deal. What, get me out of here, guys! This is some bullshit right here.
Yeah,
leave me.
You know, you'd have some groupies or something like there.
You can't. Yeah, like they're very big on that. Of like that's a very fireable get let go right there on the where thing.
Will that get you blacklisted? From other
for sure. If they you'll get blacklisted from the cruise line. So like I got fired from Norwegian. So if I could maybe work. Too. They're all terrible. There's no good one. It's like you go to the Alaska and they're like, "Hey, look at this iceberg that's melting from global warming," and you tug by on the biggest yacht, just pumping out oil, and you're like, "Yeah, I wonder why it's melting." It's like being a smoker in the Cancer War, just going like, "Why is everyone sick?" You know, it's like, bruh, put blowing smoke in their face.
So yeah, the timeshare thing was amazing. By the way, I think could be realistic too. Like you're giving Fuji ideas. So
you're giving me ideas.
Well, that's kind of, I'm going to say this, but this is kind of Anthony's co-op idea a little bit.
It was like, well, I wouldn't call it a timeshare, but I've been considering opening a co-op next year. Looks like it's not going to happen because I did the math and financially it's not going to work out right now with the way the interest rates are. So
if you get some more investors and if you guys are interested,
or
it's
someone
a great opportunity to have a place to train anytime. Between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m, unlimited hours. Okay.
Yep. Literally, he's not kidding. Like that's something I want someone that's like, you know what? I want to train 3 a.m. in the morning right now. Let me group text everyone like, hey, who's up? Who wants to train? And then you can literally go open up the co-op place and train. So that's my goal, long-term goal, maybe a retirement goal, but all right, Juan, your turn.
All right. Let's see if I can measure up to all these great ideas everyone has.
Well, so
what?
How did your judo year go? And regrets, obviously, like you just had shoulder surgery, so we're probably gonna talk about it later.
We're gonna talk about that in the intro and stuff. We did talk about it in the intro already. So my year was going pretty well. I took second place at California State Open. Took second place there. I was very happy with myself. Went to the USJF Nationals, took first place there. So that would make my third time national champion. So 3-time national champion. And I only compete 2 or 3 times a year because I'm getting older. I have to only go to big tournaments. Then I went to USA Nationals. And my goal, I knew I wasn't going to win because Mustafa, one of our great players on that, who was on the Egyptian national team, we were in the same weight class, same division. And I was like, there ain't no way I'm beating Mustafa. And there ain't no way I'm beating Mustafa twice. All right. If I catch him once, that's a miracle. And if we got to fight a second time, I'm dead. He's going to come after me with a vengeance. All right. Uh-huh. So my goal was to take second place. Instead, I got hurt my very first match, dislocated my shoulder. Like most of you know the story already. Because of that, I had to get surgery. at time of recording this show, I talked about before in the episode also, just like I just got released an hour and a half ago. Okay. This is my first shoulder injury, my first time having surgery. And I'm going to talk about it before and stuff. I talk about it again with you guys since you guys are here now. This might be my swan song, walk off in the sunset, hit the old dusty trail of competing. I'm 41 now. I didn't really plan on competing past 40. COVID took a couple years away from us, so I was going to continue going a little bit longer. But with the way my shoulder is now, it's now prone to be dislocated. And you're going 110% in competition, happens. All right.
I'm just surprised you had to do shoulder surgery before your knee surgery.
Yeah, with how bad my knees are, I thought those would be gone first. But yeah, the doctor just tells me the same stuff always. My shoulders, well, he said like my arthritis is bad in my neck and stuff. My shoulders beat up. I shouldn't compete. He was suggesting you should go running, you should do swimming, you should do all these other things. But I don't suggest doing combat sports anymore. And I'm like, but that's all I know. That's all I live for. I've been doing wrestling and karate since I was a little kid. Okay. Now I just do karate and judo. But I've done it all. I love it all, martial arts. I did amateur kickboxing. I did amateur boxing. I had amateur MMA fights. I had illegal MMA fights back when they were just called smokers when it was illegal in California. You know, I've done all this stuff because I love combat sports. And it's tough because you always know the time when you get older that you're going to have to hang it up. I'm not sure if it's going to be full hang up yet. Who knows? I might be crazy in a few years and want to compete again. All right. But for now, I'm probably retiring from competition, which is very sad. But I got to do what I got to do. And especially if I want to continue teaching and just doing judo anyways. Like I won't be doing Rondé for at least 6 months probably.
Yeah. Have you thought about competing in kata? Is that something you're considering?
How dare you?
You like kata though.
I do. It's actually funny. I do like, as much as I hate karate kata and taekwondo kata, I do like judo kata because I think it's more realistic than taekwondo and karate kata and stuff. But I don't know, competing kata, seems like such an old man thing to do. I mean, get some people now to come out. Here comes the heat. Give me the heat. Yeah. The kata heat people out
so,
there.
Elan, are you a fan of kata? Like competition kata? That's not to say kata. Just compete. What do you think of competition? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I've seen a lot of competition kata in the past year since I've been coaching a lot more and traveling. But I didn't really get really into it until I saw it at nationals. And like the atmosphere is just different, right? Like everybody's quiet and it's just like everything's so precise. And, you know, you got one of the people judging, like, you know, Reiko Shepherd's judging Nage no Kata. And you're just like, whoa, that's really, that's
pretty intimidating.
Yeah. So like seeing at that level, cause like to me, Juno Kata looks funny until I saw the nationals and I was like, this looks amazing. Like these guys do it really well. So it's kind of like, I don't think I've thought about competing in kata, but like it is fun to see people who are so high level at it. Local tournaments can be, you know, hit or miss, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Juan.
Yeah. All right. So my business plan. Okay. So let me set the stage for you. We're in a high-rise building, all made of glass. Let's say it's on Sunset Boulevard on the corner of, I can't remember where the cross street is. Across the street from the Bank of America with the Chipotle underneath. So beautiful building, glass everywhere. So that we're going to have our dojo on the, let's say, second or third floor. That we get this nice view of Hollywood right there. Okay. So I'm going to open up this beautiful judo place, amazing tatami, nice subfloor and everything. And this, I'm going to when you come in, you're like, hey, Mr. Rodriguez, I want to learn judo from you. I'm going to say, yes, come, please come to my dojo. I'm going to be wearing this gi and all stuff. You're like, yes, please come. I'm going to sign you up on the fast track plan to get a black belt. If you give me your credit card and pay $10,000 up front, you will get a black belt in judo in 3 years.
Okay. So that's similar to what Elan said, right? Like
very similar. You'll get a black belt in 3-year plan. And you don't have to do that plan. You can also do the extension plan to get a black belt in 5 years, which is only $5,000. Or you can do the one-time class fees of $50 a class, every class. But I will throw in a free t-shirt that says Sunset Hollywood Judo. I will throw in a free rash guard that says Sunset Hollywood Judo.
Okay.
And I'll even give you a single weave gi that says Sunset Hollywood Judo, all tossed into this great fee of $10,000 for 3 years.
Okay.
So that's the opening part right there. Okay. That's how I get people in. Now, when you come to class, you will be taught judo. I'm going to hire a Japanese guy that doesn't know nothing about judo, but he's having to look similar to someone in New York that people love listening to. So I'm going to get a Japanese guy, has a Japanese look to him. I'm going to give him a candy cane belt. All right. I don't know if he is going to be a candy cane belt, but I'm going to give him a candy cane belt. All right. That way people think that he's someone special. And he's going to teach you all these great moves. And you're never going to fall. I'm going to teach you judo without falling.
So it's like picking someone up in Uchikomi, but then putting them back down.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you will not learn how to properly fall or take falls until you get your black belt. So don't have to worry about that stuff. You'll be doing judo for 3 years or 5 years already before you actually learn how to hit the mat. All right. Don't have to worry about getting hurt or nothing, dislocating anything, rupturing anything, pulling something. Don't worry about it.
So far, this sounds like a good Yelp review than bad Yelp reviews.
A good Yelp review. And then when it comes to testing, don't worry about the test. Because as long as you show up that day of testing, you get promoted. Okay. Testing is just a regular class. You just come in, we do our warm-ups, we do some uchikomis, we lift each other, maybe do some yako seiko geiko with no falling, and then you get promoted every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I'm gonna put, has to be every 3 weeks because I'm going to do the thing.
With stripes?
With 6
Taekwondo,
months.
yes. Taekwondo does. You get a stripe on your belt every time you test. Every 3 weeks, you get a stripe on there. That way, every year, you're going to get a belt rank.
Okay.
So the first year, you're going to be a white belt. The second year, you're going to be a brown belt. And your third year, you're going to be a brown belt with black on it. Half black, half brown.
You're just describing,
like
you didn't come up with a business plan. You just copied Taekwondo. Like,
what are you saying? What are you talking about? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about this stuff. Okay. All right.
I'll give you a pass because you were in the hospital on.
What do you mean? This is a great business plan here. Don't let me finish. I'm not getting to competitions yet. All right.
All right.
And then our competitions are going to be held every 2 months. We're going to have in-house competitions with no throwing again. So you're going to do some little bit of moving around. And whoever would assume the throw would be bigger and better would get the win. AKA how old karate turns used to be done in 1960s and 70s. Okay. Because that's how old karate turns used to be held back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, in the old days, they didn't actually hit each other. They would just like somewhat hit each other. So, and whoever had the biggest hit, they would like count as the winner.
For those, do you know what Iaido is? Anyone here not know what Iaido is? It's like the art of drawing a sword. So think about like kendo, but with real swords, actually. And if you ever seen an Iaido competition, they basically take turns swinging the sword. Like you get the whole space to yourself. You swing the sword, so you demonstrate a technique, then you step off. Then your opponent comes on and does another technique to counter the technique that you did. So this is kind of giving me the vibes with that.
Mm-hmm. So that would be, was that the 1, 2, 3, that's 4. Mm-hmm. My fifth part, what would my fifth part be? The tournaments, belt ranking, how do you get inside the place?
You didn't write this down, huh? But again, you were at a hospital, so.
I was in a hospital. Couldn't think about all the stuff. Like I said, I already had a plan in my head. Dude, I've been doing martial arts and running programs most of my life. So it's like,
yeah, but you're supposed to come up with Are you actually going to start a dojo like this? Because it sounds like you're actually going to start a dojo like this.
No, this is a terrible idea. Who would do judo in a place like this?
People do taekwondo in places like that.
Well, this is basically I am taking the taekwondo McDojo format pretty much and doing it to judo. Okay, yes, all right. I am. The suburban taekwondo place.
This would work in Manhattan. Yes,
it would.
if you have like laundry service, that's like either $10 a month or $3 a month.
And we'll wash your geese for you as well. So the last part.
So Matt, what were you going to say? I think you were about to say something.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay, I thought your mic was turning on. All right, is that it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, all right.
No. Here's the last part. Just because I'm festive, because of the holiday spirit. Every year on our holiday party, we have a Santa Claus versus the Grinch judo match.
That sounds awesome. Again, that just sounds awesome. That just sounds awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're giving Elan more ideas for his dojo now.
Well, take it. Go ahead, have it.
We're gonna do that, after our musical chairs tournament, and then we're gonna have like the Grinch versus Santa, and it's gonna be like a cage match or a ladder match wrestling, except it's gonna be a Christmas tree.
I don't think
that'd be a ladder match. Match.
You're not kidding about the musical chairs thing, because I saw V posted on Instagram the other day.
Oh yeah,
she got elbowed. She got elbowed in the face or something.
Yeah, so our musical chairs gets pretty violent.
I was trained at a Taekwondo gym in Thousand Oaks when I first went to LA, and I was working a lot up there. And I took this Taekwondo class. It was like $20 for 2 weeks or something, get the free gi, the whole package. So they do Taekwondo for like the first, and the classes were like not that long either. Oh, and that's another thing. My classes are only 1 hour classes. 1 hour classes, 5 classes a day. But this class is like really short. So we would do like standing drills, pad drills and stuff, some stuff on the bags. And then they'll pull out this net. And I was like, what's this net for? Like, okay, guys, time to play soccer now. I'm like, we're in this tiny Taekwondo gym and we're doing soccer. And I asked their sensei, I can't remember how to say it in Korean. Sabanim. Yeah, I asked their Sabanim. I was like, what are we doing soccer for now? Oh, it's to build up cardio and stuff. Like, wouldn't doing more pad drills or maybe doing more kicks build up cardio? It's like, oh no, but this is fun. People enjoy it. I'm like, damn, this is some real.
A lot of French judo clubs do that. They play soccer for warm-ups or during off season or something like that. So
I know, it was weird. I didn't like it.
The idea is it trains your ashiwaza is what they say.
Ashiwaza, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else?
Just the 1 hour classes. Classes are only 1 hour.
1 hour classes. Okay.
1 hour classes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, sounds like Taekwondo to me. So I think you would get pretty good Yelp reviews and pretty successful. Yeah, not a good business plan, and we'll vote on it later. But all right, so I'm gonna go next. How did my judo year go? So if you remember the last episode, I set a bunch of goals about competing more and all that kind of stuff. But I started off the year with a concussion, and then it just went downhill from there.
I had to tell him twice. I'm sorry, guys. I had to tell him twice, and I was like, Anthony, one more time.
I started off the year with a concussion, then I shortly got concussed again. And then I was sick for the first 6 months, like back and forth. So I didn't get much training done. And then for the latter 6 months between getting my health back and I started traveling a lot, then I got COVID from traveling. So judo wise, the year wasn't that good, but I did get to spend a lot more time with family, with my wife. And it did kind of change my perspective on certain things and the role that judo's playing in my life right now. So it will affect my goals going forward, which I'll talk next time. But so judo wise, the year wasn't great, but I don't regret it at all. What I wish I would have done, I wish I would have not done a BJJ tournament earlier in the year. I'm not going to say I regret it, but just doing it made me not like BJJ a lot. I don't know how to say that. Like I haven't been going to BJJ classes a lot. One, because I got sick. Two, because of traveling. But even without that, I think the main thing was because I did that tournament, I haven't been as motivated to go train because I just realized I'm not that in love with the sport. And I'm just
doing it. What was so bad about it?
Just the rule sets are, I don't, if you guys know why I don't watch a lot of movies or watch a lot of sports, it's just, I'm pretty picky about rule sets. And a lot of the things about the BJJ rule sets, like a lot of people like how open it is, but at the same time, for me, it's like, it's so open that a lot of things are up to interpretation. That's just, yeah, like slams, for example, right? And strike, like I got concussion because I got repeatedly elbowed in the head. but it doesn't look like so. That doesn't look like a strike, but you basically what they did there. There's a reason why you can't touch the face in judo, basically. So it did make me realize why we do a lot of things in judo rule sets that's allowed in BJJ. And another thing, safety was another concern. Like one of my training partners in my BJJ club, I told them how I had concerns about the safety area in BJJ. One of the complaints a lot of people who are trying to run judo tournaments, I forgot if it's Dave Roman or Jonah, but they're talking about how, like they won't sanction tournaments if you don't have a certain amount of safety space. There's a good reason for that. I almost threw a guy onto concrete and I was able to stop. So
like
because
problem.
they're trying to squeeze as many mats into so they can run like a lot of matches at the same time. So there's really a narrow safety margin, which is fine if you're not doing takedowns, I guess, but these guys are like double like blasting people across the mat. So if you're unlucky, I talked about it before, but if you're unlucky and you're like in one of the corners, like on the like you have multiple mats and you're at the corner mats, which is where I was. I almost threw a guy off with an osotogari at the edge, but instead I stopped, which then allowed him to grab my leg. But shortly after that, I told that to one of my training partners. He got thrown double leg blasted off the mat into the table. So, yeah, that's the reason why I just realized I'm not a fan of the sport. I will continue training it just because I want to improve my newaza in general. So, but that's one thing I wish I would have done. And I also wish I would have spent less time at the dojo. That's one of the things that I wish.
That is your own fault, and I tell you that all the time.
Yeah.
I tell you to stand your ground all the time.
Yeah, so I did. That is one regret. It's just how much time I spent at the dojo, and I didn't even realize it until my sensei pulled me aside one day and said, "Like, you're here every single day. It's just like you're here more than some of these other people, and you guys are going to basically get promoted at the same time." Like in terms of time and grade, basically. Mm-hmm. So then I realized, hey, like I'm obviously doing it because I love the dojo and I love like training with you guys and stuff. And I love visiting Elan. Like, so every time I'm not in the dojo, I'm either working on the podcast or I'm visiting other dojos or I'm doing research on how to teach and all that stuff. So I would get promoted at the same time as this guy that trains twice a week and then plays World of Warcraft with Elan the rest of the time. So I'm like,
I don't even play World of Warcraft anymore.
Yeah. Is it worth it? Like, is what I'm thinking. And I don't regret it, but I feel like I'm hitting that wall where I'm getting diminishing returns on the time I'm spending on it. So I feel like now is the time for me to like taper down on the amount of time I spend in judo and focus on learning Japanese and picking up the guitar and stuff like that. So yeah, that was kind of a long answer, but that was that. And my business plan, okay, so my dojo is going to reside on the top level of a skyscraper.
Okay, why are you copying my ideas already? Okay.
Yeah, so you said second floor. Mine is
second
like
or third floor.
No, mine is like floor 50.
Glass building.
Mine is floor 50 or something. Like it's gonna be an office space with an old office layout. So it used to be an office with an old office layout, not the open office style that you see now. So you think about if you ever worked in a old corporate culture, you think of like taking an elevator up to the floor. You get out and you walk through glass windows, and there's just like a corridor that goes around the building, and there's multiple offices you can go into. So that's the layout. So there's no one big space for training judo. There's So you're going to like pair off with your partner into each office space, and you're going to get your own little mat area in each office. All right.
That's judo breakout rooms.
Yeah. Judo breakout rooms.
Exactly.
And then the instructions.
Reminds me of karaoke in Koreatown, where everyone just goes to their private room with their friends and does their own judo.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So you could go with your friends, or you can go off with your own partners in pairs. I will charge you based off of like the room fee, right? So if you have 10 friends that you want to train judo, you can crowd 10 people into small judo space. All right. And then the instruction is going to be done via video conferencing. So have you ever done corporate video conferencing? There's like a TV screen in a room and there's like a little intercom in the middle that picks up the sound around, and there's like speakers. So I'm going to be teaching through that video intercom system. All right. And then when
That's
you have a question, when you
he's like, I can't handle this.
just like in Zoom,
I
or
work in
if
the
you
public sector, so I can only imagine. Man.
Yep. So just like in Zoom, you can raise your hand. So if you raise your hand, I can be like, okay, Matthew had a question, and then I'm going to go over it and all that kind of stuff. But then if I can't really correct you because I'm not in your room, so you could pay me extra to come to your room and like instruct you.
You a hostess now? This is a hostess judo club. So it sounds like there's a hostess judo club, isn't it, Anthony? You're setting up a hostess judo club. Oh my God.
So with this structure, when I tell you swap partners, you're going to have to exit the room and go to like a different room and swap rooms and find, and you might look into a room and be like, oh, you already have a partner. And you got to keep going down the hall and find someone who doesn't have a partner, because you can't see who doesn't have a partner. All right. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, this building is in the off campus. Like if you think about off campus, like there's no public transportation, there's no parking. So you're going to have to take a shuttle bus. There's a huge parking lot like a mile away from the actual building. Yeah. You're going to park there, and showed up to class, you're going to have to take a shuttle bus to the building. All right. And once you get to the building, if you show up late, all the elevators stop working. So you're going to have to walk up 50 floors to get to class if you show up late. And a shuttle bus only runs once every 15 minutes. All right. So you're going to have to show up really early. If you miss the shuttle bus, you're most likely going to show up late to class, and then you're going to have to climb the stairs. All right. Okay. And so tipping, because we're American, tipping is expected, but not. I'm not going to mention it at all. Right. I'm not going to
instructor.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention it at all. I'm at the end of class when everyone leaves. I'm going to go around to every single office, and then I'm going to see if you left a tip, just like in the hotel room. You know, I don't know if you guys tip in hotel room. I do. Yeah. I was taught to do that by my parents. Otherwise, I would have never done it. Like no one else has ever told me you're supposed to tip in the hotel room other than my parents.
I used to work at a hotel in college. It's very not expected, but it's very appreciated.
Yep. So if you do not leave a tip, I'm going to mark down who you are. And then the next class, I'm going to ignore your questions and be very passive aggressive to you and call you out in front of class and everything. So that's the tipping part of the tipping culture that makes us the American gym. Okay. And you know how, this is number 4. You know how most dojos require you to join USA Judo, USJF, or USJA? I think, Elan, you guys require USA Judo now or USJF?
We have both. So
okay, so you take both. We take all 3. So in my gym, the Worst Dojo America, instead of forcing you to join one of these organizations, you are forced to do a $100 campaign donation to my political party of preference. All right. And then you have to show me the what do you call the donation tax deductible receipt? Yeah, that they give you. So it's required every year. Every year when you renew it, you're gonna have to donate money to my political party of preference. All right. And the 5th and last thing, every time you miss class, I will call the emergency contact that you have left on file and ask them and harass them, why did you not show up to class? Like, tell them how important it is for their judo growth to show up to class every day and do their homework and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to call whoever you put down as your emergency contact and call them every single time you don't show up to class.
Don't you do that already?
Not the emergency contact. Like, no. All right.
Can I just say,
yeah.
I just want to say in broad strokes, like this exercise has been a great psychoanalysis of how we've all been traumatized or burned in the past. Like Elan's had exorbitant fees. Matthew's got a timeshare he doesn't need. Juan hates the Taekwondo format. Then Anthony was burned by corporate culture. And then probably a passive aggressive or overbearing parents. One of those two.
I think I'm burned by tipping culture. That drives me nuts. Like I grew up,
get over it.
I grew up
Cheap
abroad.
bastard.
I grew up abroad and also I love going to Japan. And that's the one thing I love about traveling is I don't have to worry about tipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that because people are like, oh, you're just cheap, right? I don't mind paying more. Just let me know how much I need to pay you. Like this is why I choose to park. When I go on trips, I choose to pay extra and park at the airport parking lot instead of taking a cab. Cause I'm like, do I tip this guy 20%? What if he drives like an asshole? Do I like 15%, 25%? Now he knows where I live. So if I don't tip him well enough and he's like, oh, I dropped this guy off at this house before, I'm going to come by with some like bed bugs or something.
You
and
never have them pick you up at your house in front of your house directly. You have them pick you up from somewhere.
And then I got to lug all the luggage somewhere. I live in the suburbs.
You have them meet you at the grocery store across the street from your house.
That's just too much of a hassle. So
sorry.
What are your guys' thoughts on tipping on to-go orders?
That's the other thing. What is that?
COVID changed everything. So it's hard to do. And I feel like I'm in a situation like I'm in a group setting. I do tip. I normally don't.
So I mean, I used to work.
Tip your Uber delivery driver.
Yeah, go ahead,
please.
Peter.
I was gonna say, I worked in restaurants forever, from like 14 to 21 back in Michigan. And so for the to-go people, like, because we had a to-go counter where you got, your food or whatever your takeout, it's like a couple bucks. It was never like 20% or 10%. Yeah. But if you slip like a couple bucks or like a $5 or $2, depending on how crazy your order is, it's like you just have to equate what am I asking for versus how much work I think they're going to have to do for my sorry ass, So but it's not like 20% or something.
Yeah. When I first,
you're working at 14.
You can work at 14 and a half in Michigan.
Oh,
14 and 6 months.
That's early.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
A lot of normal people start working that young.
In California, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can. I was working in middle school.
You have to get, there's certain restrictions on what you can do. And also you have to get signed. Some places you have to get signed off by parents and the school. Some of them you don't.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I had my first summer job when I was in middle school.
What did you do?
I worked at a student counselor for a summer program.
Bouncer?
Yes, I was a student counselor. Yes.
Bouncer at a summer camp? What?
Yeah. Like you can't do construction, for example.
I was having jackhammer stuff, drywall.
When I was in middle school, I had some friends that worked in constructions and they told me they're not supposed to. But you can like work at like bagging groceries or something. You're allowed to do that. So this is in New York.
Yeah.
But when I first moved back here, I was told it was 18% for good service, 15% for normal service, and then to go was 10%. Now I feel like 20% is the norm. Yeah. And then 15% would probably get you yelled at, spit in your food. And then I feel like to go now is 15% is the norm. But my sister worked as a waitress for a while, and she would tell me you're supposed to tip because they're taking their time away packaging your food instead of them serving other customers is what she told me. But I don't know. I wish there was like a chart or something, and that's just standard. And I think one time I tipped 18% and they weren't happy. Like,
how you not happy with 18%? Got some people.
I don't know. Like everyone's different.
Ungrateful bastards.
I kind of like the Asian system where they just leave you alone, and if you need something, you just ring the bell that there is on the table. Yeah,
I'm not as in Koreatown at all the restaurants. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed that they're always like, "Oh, is everything okay? Can I get you this? Can I get?" I'm like, I'm okay. Especially when you're talking with your friends and they interrupt you, and then you're like, "What was I saying again?" Right? So, yeah, Koreatown has it right. So,
all right, before we get more off topic, so out of all of our viewable choices,
let's go in reverse. Juan votes first. Like, who was your favorite? Who do you think's going to net the best Worst
gonna
Yelp,
go
Google
for-
reviews, highest turnover rate.
The one that I did. No, I'm gonna go for.
You can't. Okay, the rule is you can't vote for yourself, right? Obviously, so
I'm going for Matt's. I really like the idea of the timeshare place because it's very similar to your co-op.
Yeah.
okay, Matt.
I'm going with Anthony because the white walls are the banes of my existence.
I'm gonna go with Matt too. Sorry, like
Man.
I should have went first, right? Never mind. I would have went with Matt too. Because I think the timeshare thing is hilarious, and people actually get baited into it, and bonus points if you like make them sit through your pitch, give them like a $200 certificate to something, the Chick-fil-A or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with Matt too. Elan.
I'm going to go with Matt. He's just one step away from like timeshare to OnlyFans.
No, man. I need some
No, that was
guys.
Anthony's. Anthony was the OnlyFans one. Okay, he
Yeah.
had some cameras inside there. Your own specialty room. Oh no, I don't trust that one. Hope you sanitize after every class.
All right, Peter.
Yeah, I would have voted for Matthews too, because he mentioned the two modern middle class evils of timeshares and HOA.
Hey, it's
All right,
funny. I'm trying to get rid of it. It's impossible.
To get rid of the timeshare?
I'm sorry?
To get rid of the timeshare?
Yeah. Well, my mom signed up for it without getting too personalized about it, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to get rid of it. It's scary. Like
I
my
thought
friend-
I thought there's websites where you can actually put it up for sale.
I thought those are scams.
No, I'm
Right.
pretty sure you can
The
put
ones
it up
that
for
are
sale.
the ones that say like they'll help you break the contract or break like your lease agreement, whatever that is, those are ones are the scams. But if you can pass it on to somebody else, I think that's
Like
really the only way to get rid of it.
Like a curse.
Yeah.
It's like herpes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worse.
So you pass it on somebody else, then you get rid of it. You know, it's
Who
how it
would want,
works.
like, who would want it? Like, I don't know anyone under 40 or who wants this.
Where's the timeshare?
I don't want to say the name. I don't know.
No. Like what location? Like, is it in Tennessee or is it?
No, they have them all over the U.S. But
Oh, it's one.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's one of the hotel.
it's one.
timeshares.
It's one of those that you can actually pick a location anywhere, kind of thing.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It was a
so
thing, yeah.
Some people will buy those. My aunt has a few of them.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
few? Yeah.
Some
We get your
people.
aunt's number or
No,
Yeah.
well, she already. Some people actually want those. I would never get one. They mathematically it never works out.
Oh, doesn't
But
it?
no, some people like that because they like the idea of owning property, but not like at one location, and they can trade it with people within the timeshare system. So let's say last year I vacationed in Hawaii, and then this year I'm like, I don't want to go to Hawaii again. I want to go like Iceland or something. Then you trade with someone that has an Iceland property, and they want to go to Hawaii, and so that's a very simplified version of it because obviously you have like cross trading and all that stuff. But
See, now you
anyway.
make it sound good now. To the average person, it is not good.
no, it's not good.
do it.
I'm not advocating for it. Please
Sounds like
don't.
you are. Sounds like you're trying to sell some people on it.
Yeah, but those sales tactics.
If anybody's
gets
interested in
everyone,
buying Matt's
so-
timeshare, please let us know. We'll pass you along.
yeah, I'll send them a DM. But all right. So in reverse, but this is back in the original order. Let's just talk about how to reach you, find you on social media, or anything you want to plug. Because I know Peter is an actor and comedian. Elan has his own dojo. Matthew is a director. Juan's an actor too. So Peter, go ahead.
you can find me on Instagram at Banana Chowski, Banana and then Chowski. And actually, I do have a stand-up album called Fired from Cruise Ships. So that's on Spotify if anybody wants to give that a listen.
Is that new? Because I know you did the Wally, Find Wally thing, or what was it called here?
No. Wait,
I know
Waldo?
American. So I grew up in Hong Kong, British colony, and in UK it's called Wally. So I was like, what is an American name for it? Waldo. Yeah.
No, I just did I made like a rap video a while ago, music video for that, but that's different. The stand-up album was like, I released it, I think February of 2020, because I got fired from cruise ships at the end of 2019. And then COVID hit and cruise ships went down. I was like, yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get.
What did you do? What did you do to get fired? Can you let us know or no?
Huh?
What did you do to get fired? Can you?
Yeah, it was just my material. There was a certain section of my act where I would walk a minimum of 10 people every time. And eventually it just catches up with you, enough complaints and they stop having you.
Okay.
But I knew people didn't like certain material. I mean, even if like 200 people are laughing and applauding and loving it, if 10 people hate you and they complain,
focus on the bad.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So album, Instagram, Elan.
You can find me at Bridgetown Judo on Instagram. We're here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. It's very rainy and cold right now, but feel free to drop by anytime.
Okay.
Now,
Matthew?
what's up? Hold on. Before you
sorry.
go on.
Go ahead.
What's your dojo's thing about like drop-ins? Like, do you guys have a drop-in fee or mat fee, or you guys open to people coming and visiting?
Oh yeah, all the time. We usually do like a week trial, or if you're just coming in for like the week, we'll probably won't, sometimes drop-in fees, as a lot of like up here in our BJJ community, drop-in fees is kind of like an asshole tax. So, typically unless you're going to like come to every class, like I won't typically charge you for like dropping by.
Okay. Yeah. I've only, all the places I've traveled to other than Japan, because they charge like 400 yen, which is like nothing. But every place I've traveled to, I've never been charged except for one place. And that's in New York City. So they have to pay rent. So I understand. But yeah, like you said, it's usually an asshole tax.
Then I must be a huge asshole then, because I always get charged.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll pre-charge you. If you come up here, we'll pre-charge you. It's fine.
Okay.
All right. Matthew, what did you say?
Oh, I get charged. Yeah, every time, a few times at least when I've been. So
Well, we all learned something new about Matthew today. Is that being an asshole?
You walk in and like, he's an asshole.
I don't know.
Brown belt, get out of here, brown belt. Charge him.
Well, I mean, it's
Charge him.
kind of a situation where it's like, what are you going to say? No, I'm not going to pay your fee and then walk out. Like I traveled so far to get here, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, usually I offer to pay, like a donation, like offer to pay it, and then a lot. You always should offer, and if you don't offer, they'll probably charge you. It's like this guy's like. Yeah, but you should offer, and then they say like, "Oh, don't worry about it." That's like how it goes usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not good to know.
Yeah.
Let me buy a t-shirt.
Yeah. You buy a t-shirt, which I forgot to do. I should have done it. So because I think I actually didn't like your old design, but now I like your new family crest that you guys have.
Oh,
so,
this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Nice.
All right, Matthew.
I have a web series called Metro. It's basically short films that take place on public transportation in Los Angeles. And you can find me at LA Metro Project.
Was there underscore, or is it all one?
It's underscore, but if you just search for it, you'll find it. Yeah.
All right. So Juan, you want to wrap things up? I want to thank everyone for taking the time out. I know some of you guys missed class, even though like I know Elan's sick.
I think I can still make it, actually.
Yeah. Oh, you can probably still make it to class because you guys live close. I live like an hour away. So
Okay.
What are you talking about? How far? You're in Pasadena right now, right?
South, yeah.
Yeah, you're South Pasadena. I don't know if you make the class in time right now. You got 10 minutes.
all right.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up so Matthew can make it to class.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
You want me to do the outro right now?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, everybody, doing this thing with us. We had a lot of fun with you guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on Threads on Tatami Talk. If you want to follow me on Instagram at @Jerry_Juan. You follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. You want to send us any questions, things you want to go over, things you want to talk about, send it to us at our email at tatamitalk@gmail.com. Anthony, is there anything I'm forgetting right now?
Yeah. Don't forget. Well, yeah. Let's just end it. I'll say it at the end. Yeah.
Say at the end again? Okay, I guess so. All right. So with that, Anthony, or actually, guys, what we always do. I always say, don't forget to, and then Anthony usually says something stupid. Then he says, don't slap the mat.
Yeah.
So would you guys care to say, slap the mat with us?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, don't all go at once, please. Like, please calm down, guys. All right. And with that, please don't forget to.
Don't forget to leave a comment saying which one was your favorite and which one you think was the worst dojo in America. All right. And also slap the mat.
Yeah.
All right. See what he does? See the shit that I deal with.
All right.